Auzu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama barakta ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. रब शरह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वाहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली रब्बना ज़िदना इल्मा या मुक़ल्लिबुल क़ुलूब सब्बित क़ल्बी अला दीनिक आमीन. Today we'll do Surah Asr. This is a Makki Surah having 3 verses in it. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Wal Asr, by the oath of time. Innal insana lafi khusr. Verily man is at a loss. Illa ladhina amanu wa amilis salihati wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. Except those who believe, who do good deeds, who encourage each other towards the truth and encourage each other to exercise patience. Surah Asr encompasses man's failure and success is a nutshell by taking an oath in the name of time. Allah Ta'ala presents time as a witness to the fact that man in general is at a loss. He has to leave behind whatever he earns of this world. And because he does not take a provision of good deeds to the Akhirah, he stands at a loss there. If man looks back in time and studies the history of past nation, it will become clear to him that most people have destroyed their lives in the Akhirah. If a person lives his life properly, he will be successful in the hereafter. On the other hand, failure to do so will lead him to devastation in the hereafter. Because most people choose kufr instead of iman, Allah Ta'ala makes a general statement stating, "Really man is at a loss." Therefore, the entire species of mankind except the mu'mineen is at a loss. Describing this loss in Surah Zumar, Allah Ta'ala says, "Verily the losers are those who put themselves and their families at a loss on the day of Qiyamah. Behold, this is the evident loss. Such people will themselves be in Jahannam, and they will also let their families into Jahannam." The loss of the kufr is the worst loss because because they will lose everything they earned in this world when they die and will have no deeds to assist them in the Akhirah. They will be doomed forever because there will be no chance of returning to this world. Making the exception from those at a loss, Allah Ta'ala says, "Except those who believe, who do good deeds, who encourage each other towards the truth, and encourage each other to exercise patience." People with the above 4 attributes do not have to fear suffering any loss in the hereafter. In addition to the 2 fundamental attributes of Iman and good deeds, such people also encourage others to carry out good deeds and to refrain from sins. Not only do they encourage their family and friends, but also their associates, co-travelers, and people they meet. They encourage them to accept the truth and to tread the straight path. In addition to this, they also encourage people to exercise patience. The word sabr, translated above as patience, refers to remaining steadfast in performing good deeds, refraining from sin as well as exercising patience when affiliated with any difficulty. As explained in other verses, such as verse 153 of Surah Baqarah, the word sabr entails all these 3 meanings. The moments described in this surah also patiently endure the harassment of people whom they encourage towards the truth. Even person needs to think whether he is leading in life in a manner that will cause him a loss or whether his way of life will lead him to salvation. People imbued with strong iman are constantly concerned about their plight in the akhirah. They lose no opportunity to carry out good deeds and make every effort to avoid sin, especially the worst of sins, that is kufr and shirk. In this manner, they are always soaring to new heights of proximity of Allah. Unfortunately, there are many Muslims who neither seems to have any concern for their own salvation nor for the salvation of others. Of a person's 24 day, approximately 8 hours 24 hours day, approximately 8 hours are spent in earning a living, while another 6 are spent sleeping, another 2 or 3 hours spent in salah and other necessities. If the rest of the time is spent idly, it is wasted. If it is spent in sin, one will have to suffer grave consequences. A mu'min ought to be concerned about his akhirah all the time. Many retired people who do not have to earn living while away their time in trivial pursuits because without realizing that they could make this time valuable by engaging in acts of ibadah such as salah, tilawat, recitation of the Quran, dhikr, teaching of propagating deen, etc. They could also be of valuable assistance to religious organizations. If a person retires at the age of 50 or 65, he may still live for another 30 or 35 or even more years. To waste so much time in futile and haram pastimes such as backbiting, watching television, playing cards, watching movies and wasting time on media, etc., is extremely foolish. An intelligent person is one who uses his time profitably by engaging in good deeds and abstaining from sin. The surah makes it clear that it is not sufficient for a person to be concerned about his spiritual condition only. He has to ensure that others also practice deen, especially his family and subordinates. If he does not see to this, his wife, children, and family will become a source of grief for him in the hereafter. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made it clear that each person is a shepherd and will be questioned about his flock, narrated by Bukhari. It is most tragic to note that parents nowadays turn their children away from deen, teach them how to earn haram wealth, and send them to places where their iman is in jeopardy. This they regard a progress when it is actually the worst retrogression. May Allah guide the Ummah. Ameen, Sumo Ameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Allahumma aghfir li muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.